Well, good morning, everybody. It is bright and early. The first horse of the day is going outside, and I believe it's 5:10. So welcome to another vlog, and welcome to a complete day in my life. We're gonna keep it just today. I'm gonna try to record a lot more, but right now we're getting the horses outside and we are getting the day started. It's a little cool today. I think it's like 30, but no wind, so it feels so nice. Alrighty, everybody, it's now 5:47. All of the ponies, they're outside. And now what I'm going to do is, you can kind of see, I'm going to grab hay for 4 of them. Because some of them can't really eat hay. And some horses, if there's grass, they're always going to choose grass. Some of these guys, so I'll put hay outside and then they don't touch it. And then it becomes a waste. But putting hay outside is not something that I would do, like, let's say in the summertime, because of the fact that the pastures just do have so much more grass. The only time in the summer that I put hay outside is like if we're in a drought, which does happen because generally here in Georgia, the summertime tends to be like our drought months, and then the winter tends to be like our rainy, windy months. Like, I always laugh, it's so windy in the winter here, like every single day it's just windy, and I always say, like, I wish we could have the wind from the winter time in the summer, because then in the summer it usually is like never windy, and that's when you kind of want wind, when it's like, you know, 90 something degrees. It'd be nice to have a little breeze. Did that rhyme a little bit? Yo, I actually think I'm a rapper. Something. I must be a part poet, because sometimes I just drop bars. And it's not even on purpose. So I'm gonna grab hay. We'll go drop that hay off. And then, like, this weekend or something, it is actually supposed to be really cold. I think it's supposed to be like 16 degrees. And, like, because I know it's going to be so cold, because it's supposed to be windy during the night, I'll actually drop the hay the night before and use my 4-wheeler, so I won't bring any from here. But because it's going to be windy, there's not going to be much frost during that night. But like on a normal day like today, where we didn't really have a breeze during the night, wind, whatever, the ground of course got super frosty. So I do prefer, when it gets frosty and whatnot, to just give them fresh hay in the morning. And then, you know, like I said, if it's like really windy and I know it's going to be super cold, I'll do it the night before. So it saves me some time, especially the night where it is supposed to be like 16 or 17 degrees. I already know that the buckets outside are going to freeze. So I know that, like, in the morning, I'm going to have to go out there with a hammer and bust all the buckets up and take the ice out of all of them for the horses. And that takes a while. So, like, not having to put the hay out is just one less thing. So I'll do it the night before. But I'm going to grab hay for everyone, get that put out. And then after that, what I typically do is I come in, I check 2 Bits and Freya again. And then I clean the pastures. Freya's pasture in the dark is really exciting, but I clean her pasture, dump it, and then head up to the barn to start cleaning stalls up there. So you just kind of get in a rhythm, and then, like I always say, just never stop moving. When you stop moving, that's when you get tired. Ready, everybody? 7:09. I'm gonna grab the cat's treats and we're gonna let them out for the morning. And let's see what they're doing. Got Bumble, Honeybee. Somebody who pulled the stuff out of the cage. I don't see Bunny, but she's somewhere. Guys. Oh. Bunny? Let me get in, guys. That blanket is supposed to be in the box. Who pulled the blanket out? Phoebe? Did you pull it out? Hey guys, I'm so proud of you. You stayed in here for 2 days. That's a major improvement. Yes, Bumblebee, nice. 2 days that Honey has come in this room. I'm so proud of you. So we need to keep doing. Bumble needs to keep staying nice. Hey, Bunny. 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 Good girl. Good job. Okay, let's get some treats. Just a couple, guys. Because they have had lots of food overnight. And Bee's like, yeah, I'm staying over here. Alright guys, so I have one more stall to clean. And then after I'm done cleaning that, I need to grab like shavings and everything. We're gonna add them to the stall. We usually do that twice a week. My mom's cleaned that one. Got these. And that one done. So I'm working on the last stall. Do that, throw shavings in, and then hopefully be done. Oh, and I gotta like, you know, make food and do all that good stuff, but don't think I'm gonna move hay today because I'm gonna do shavings. But let me get back. This is a disaster of a stall. You just can't tell. This horse is disgusting. He's disgusting every single day. So his stall takes me the longest by far to clean. I don't know. He's just a guy and he's gross, if that tells you anything. Well, everybody, we are back inside now. It is 8:37 and I would say this is like a typical time for me to get inside from doing morning chores. It's usually between 8:30 and 9. Now granted, this definitely does fluctuate. Like, let's just say I have maybe one less horse, or if I have an extra horse, I feel like per horse it typically seems to add like 30 minutes onto the schedule just overall. So right now we usually get in between 8:30 and 9. If I get in before that, I feel like I've won the day. But it just usually is very unlikely that I do. So it takes me usually between, well, let's see, like 3 to 4 hours to do the barn, which makes sense because in the morning that's typically like I gotta turn all the horses out. We have to like do all of the chores. Cleaning stalls always takes the longest in the morning, and then, you know, prepping food, that's typically when I'll move like feed. Hey, you know, today adding shavings. So morning portion definitely takes the longest by far. And then I would say like after that, the other 3 main segments usually take, I don't know, like an hour. So the morning just is the bulk of it. So I'm back inside now. I have quite a few things that I actually need to do today, which I guess that's like every single day. I'm reaching in my pocket because I had a website order that I ended up completing last night for some eyes. So I need to get these eyes packaged up and ready to go off to their new home. I think I mentioned to you guys that probably after the holidays I want to make some new eyes. Now hear me out. I'd love to know your opinion on this. I am getting really stuck if I want to do made to order eyes or if I want to do like almost a drop. Like just paint so many eyes and then that's that. Just because I feel so bad that I'm not fast with my eye orders. Like it does typically take me like a week, sometimes longer, to get them out. Now granted, this time of year especially, like if I get an eye order on a normal time of the year, not so much because I don't have just, you know, like everything and anything going on. But right now it's taking me a lot longer, so I feel bad about the wait time. But I think most people's wait time are like 2 to 4 weeks for eyes, so I feel like maybe it's not too bad. But then if I did like more of a drop, I mean the eyes would already be, you know, like done, so they could be shipped out right away. I don't know. Let me know your thoughts. But we have some of our core collections. We got Indigo in 25s. We got Candy 25s. Carnival in 20. Starlight 25s. And then this is just Starlight in 20s. So I gotta get that packed up today. Yesterday I did paint eyes for my Ponyta. So I went with these ones. Even though Ponyta has like, you know, those distinct eyes and everything, I wasn't really comfortable with doing that type of felt work. Like on my off season this year, if you guys don't know, every single year I always try and learn like something new to help my business out. And so I want to try and learn a little bit more of needlepoint felting, so that way I can do like eyes as needlepoint, but I'm not comfortable doing that for custom when I have like no previous experience. So I decided safety eyes were gonna be the go. So I have almost the head done for the Ponyta. The body is already done. So I'm just using this is, I think, Snuggle Beans, her pattern. And once I get the head and everything, I don't know, I'll either decide if I sew the head on or if I'll wait to do the head and then add all of the acrylic yarn and brush all of the acrylic yarn out, because that's what I'm gonna do to do the tail and then like the mane for Ponyta, because it's like fire, so I'm gonna do that. Last night I was able to get my Rapunzel started. She looks crazy. But I have the first part of her hair pinned down and it dried last night. So that'll probably be a today thing, because pretty much what I have to do to finish the doll, I will continue gluing down the strands until I'm happy with it. We'll do this and I'll figure out how I'm gonna pull whatever way, I don't know. And then I will braid it in the back or do something in the back, and then we'll use the bow. And then Rapunzel will be done, so I can get her done. And then I usually wait till the end to do my eyebrows. It's just a personal preference. So I'll do the eyebrows at the end. She'll be done. And then I need to make Max, which I think I'm just gonna do the same, this pattern, but I'm gonna make it in probably Premiere, so it'll be smaller to match Rapunzel's size, and then potentially do the small body. I did the large body on this one. And then besides that, I made a lot more progress with my dog. Oh my god, guys. This is not my favorite pattern in the world. And a lot of it is because I am not a fan of crocheting like in the round. Does that make sense? Like, I would have much rather preferred to sew the head on. I would have much preferred to sew the legs on, just because my tension never works up the same as any pattern I do. Like, so I hate when I do patterns that have a lot of this like decreasing and shaping in the rounds, and especially if they aren't super well written. Like this pattern isn't the best written thing in the world. So when you have like a patterns that's not written well and doesn't tell you like where the location of the stitch marker should be when you're doing all these decreasing and increasing, blah blah blah. So you have that, and then you have a pattern that needs so much of this shaping, like not great writing, shaping does not go super well together. So I kind of had to like wing some things, and I'm not in love with him, just because it's hard to like imagine what he looks like. So this is what I've got right now. Now here's what I don't like about this. You can see that his body is not fully straight because of the fact that there's all this increasing and decreasing, and there's nothing to help you out. He kind of like has a little twist. So my plan, I'm going to finish up the body, go back through, tack the legs how I need to tack them to get him to stand straight, because he can stand, but like this leg, I don't know if you can see, this leg is higher than this leg, so it kind of needs to come down more so they're symmetrical. So once I finish crocheting him, I will go back through and kind of like do things as necessary. And I'm not certain about this head. This is another one that I would have just preferred to have crocheted the head and then sewn the head on. But this is what I've got, and this is what I'm dealing with, and this is what I'm trying to make happen. So there's not too many more rounds of this pattern, to be honest. Like, the head doesn't have too many more rounds. I did contact them yesterday. They did decide that they wanted painted eyes, so I do need to paint those eyes tonight because I didn't paint them yesterday because I was starting to get a headache, even though I wear like a respirator and everything. Doing the resin after so long gives me like migraines, so I decided to stop and then continue with the horse. So I need to paint his eyes. I hope 25 millimeters. I think that's my plan. I might do 25 and 30, but 30 feels way too big. And then I'm hoping once I make the actual nose piece and put it on, it won't look so dumb. Because right now it looks dumb. Yeah. Like, I feel like for a bulldog, the shape is okay. But I definitely do not consider this pattern beginner friendly. And luckily, just because it's one of those things where like I've been crocheting enough that I can kind of make adjustments, but I really feel like I shouldn't have to make that many adjustments to patterns. So yeah, we'll see how he actually turns out. And then this, all of the color work is just, I got sent a photo of the dog, and so I just did the color work as I saw it. And then if you end up doing this pattern, stuffing is like so important. Knowing how to stuff plushies. I still need to fill out stuffing here and like the neck and everything. It's just really hard for me to do that when I'm doing the head, just because it will kind of puff up, and I don't like to crochet when there's a lot of stuffing like puffing up, because then it gets caught in my hook all the time. So yeah, we'll see. I got him twisty man. See, you can kind of see from this, like, see how it kind of drops his hip down? Not my favorite. that is always the thing I tell about people when you do custom work. You have to realize that unless you're going to turn away custom work, which some people definitely do, but if you're just type that person who wants to do like a lot of custom work, I think people need to realize that the majority of the pieces that you do might be things that you don't like. So that's always a deciding factor if you want to get into that realm. Because there's definitely custom work that like I'm excited to do and I enjoy doing. But at the same time, there's also been a lot of customs that I just don't really enjoy that much. Like I remember last year I had to do this custom for somebody, it was two, and I just remember thinking to myself when they were like choosing the colors, I was like, oh my god, this is going to turn out so ugly. And it didn't matter what I told them. I was like, you know, maybe we should try this color just to like balance it out a little bit, and it didn't matter. They were like dead set. And so like by the end, I guess like maybe the plushy part of it turned out fine, but it wasn't something that like I particularly enjoyed making because it was just so clashing and jarring and just did not make sense whatsoever. And so that's what I always tell people at customs. You gotta be realistic and realize that like a lot of customs you might not actually enjoy doing. So I think when you get into that realm, you have to decide what's important for you. Like for me, crochet, as I've said before, I enjoy crocheting, especially when I get to crochet the things I like, but at the same time, this is a business. And I'm used to doing businesses where I don't necessarily like what I'm doing or like enjoy it all the time. So it doesn't bother me. But for the people out there who maybe love crochet and like want to crochet fun things, want to crochet the things they enjoy, that's always a thing to think about with customs. And you also do, in my opinion, have more risk of people like not liking what you make, even if you agree upon things, just because, you know, when you go to a market, if you make items that you want to make, and then if somebody comes up to your table and they don't like it, they just walk away. But then when you do custom work and you're getting paid and all this type of stuff, it's a bit different because like people expect something, and I have definitely tried to tell people that like I don't know, 10 people can make a pattern and 10 people will make it completely different. So even if they see a pattern and they wouldn't make like that pattern, they gotta know that it's gonna be different. And then at the same time, some things just do not translate over to crochet. It's like the color changes, like the variegated look on some animals, like coat colors. I have to explain to people that like it doesn't always translate super well. Or if we have a pattern and then you're given a reference photo or something, like sometimes you have to adjust where colors go or whatnot just a little bit because it doesn't make sense from maybe what that dog really looks like and what you're trying to put on a pattern. So customs are always a catch-22. I definitely think that there's different degrees of custom work that you can do. Like you can just do like little custom orders or just things that you're comfortable with. A lot of my custom orders tend to go into the more like extravaganza, I guess I would say. And I'm not going to go into it in this video, but I did just recently accept a custom order of over 20 plushies, and all very big plushies and all very new plushies. So I don't think like everyone wants to do that, but I like a challenge and I like to make myself suffer. I think if I went through a day feeling happy, then that's a bad day for me because I'm meant to suffer in agony all the time. And that's just life with me. And then I'll show you the last one I finished. So I did end up finishing the Psyduck. He turned out massive. I'm not even kidding. Like this thing is huge. But I was able to position his tail in such a way that he actually does sit. And then the sewing wasn't too difficult. I mean, it was sewing. I think the most annoying thing was honestly this beak. And so what I ended up doing is I sewed everything and then I sewed the beak on last just because this is really hard to work around. And I used the same foam board that I use on my clubs or like some of my pieces that I want to put foam at the bottom of the feet so they stand a little bit better, I use that on Psyduck as well. So he stands up a little bit more, like his bill, and then I did actually end up coming back through and sewing across the top here because there was like a little bit of the gap between where the foam had been glued, because you don't glue it all the way to the end. So I went back through and just filled in this gap with a little bit of sewing, which makes it look a lot better. And then I did end up using the felt eyes just because on his sense, like the felt eyes aren't crazy intricate or anything. I'm going to go back through and just re-glue some of these edges because I kind of just like put them on. And then I used just some heat transfer vinyl. I had glittery ones, so he's got a little glitter in his eyes. And yeah, he's done. So this is the part 1 of the custom order for my vet. And this is the guy that I was like, man, I way undercharged. Simply, I mean, the size and the materials, like, I definitely undercharged. But I know for the next time not to charge this little. But this is him. And now that it is 8:54, my plan is I need to record a video for Vlogmas because there's no way I can record this video as a day in life and then get it out in the same day. Like, you're crazy. So I'm gonna quickly record a little standalone video for Vlogmas. Hopefully I don't talk too much, but knowing me, I will talk too much because that's just life for me. And I do have one Knotty Pony order that I'm gonna pack up probably this afternoon. And then see about these eyes. If I don't get them packed up today, I will definitely get them packed up tomorrow so they can ship out. But I'm gonna go record again. All right, oh my gosh. Guys, I'm so sorry. I'm not wearing a beanie. What is this hair? Oh, so I really need to like, oh my gosh, this is so bad. I need to cut my hair really bad because y'all, I'm never growing my hair out. We just need to accept this fact. It doesn't matter how many times people comment. I'm not growing my hair out. But I need to cut it because the only reason my hair looks the way it does, like straight, is because I wear beanies all the time and I wear my hood up most of the time. But in general, I have incredibly curly hair. And I also have like incredibly thick hair. So thick, curly, when I was a kid and I wasn't wearing beanies and hoodies, I literally looked like I had a mini afro or a mushroom on top of my head. So if I cut it and if I wear beanies, it's fine. And as well, I think you guys can see, like, see this? Well, I have my hair pushed over here. I'm graying. Yep, completely graying. So the sides of my head are gray. The like long parts of my hair are graying out as well. This side, you guys can't see, but this side is graying too. So whenever my hair grows out, the gray and everything becomes a lot more noticeable, which I could care like less. If I go completely gray, it doesn't bother me. I just shave my head. But people tend to like comment about it a lot more, and I'm like, it runs in my family, guys. It's not that I'm stressed. The ulcers come from the stress. But that's just like a lot of my family members were completely gray by I don't know, 20 something. So being 25, time's not gonna be fair to me or nice to me. But I'm downstairs now. It is 9:30. I'm getting breakfast. I know you're not supposed to do that. I know that if you wake up early, you're supposed to like eat really early, but that just never happens for me. And honestly, I feel like I have the world's weirdest like eating schedule because of the fact that, yeah, life just like time doesn't work for me. So like I eat breakfast at like 9:30 and I eat the same thing every day, a bagel. And then I usually eat lunch at like 12 12:30, because that's when I come in from the barn. So there's not a lot of time between lunch and breakfast. And then I eat dinner at like 5:30, 6 or 6. No, actually this time of year, like 6:30. So my meals are just very close together. But it's a fun fact for you guys, just so you guys don't think I'm healthy, because I'm not. I'm better than I used to be. I used to be really unhealthy. First of all, I can drink a whole bottle of coffee in one day and it does not affect me. Caffeine does not affect me. Sugar does not affect me. None of this stuff affects me when it comes to being tired. All it does is I drink it because I get headaches, and the coffee helps with the headaches. But I don't want you guys to think I'm healthy or like in good shape. So every single morning, I start my morning off with a chocolate chip cookie. That is the first thing I eat. A chocolate chip cookie. And if I can eat my chocolate chip cookie, then I know the day is going to be okay. But when I don't get my chocolate chip cookie, there's problems. So I'm going to eat, and I pulled purple yarn from my stash for the Gengar because I can't be bothered to finish anything right now. And there's like weird things with me that like I won't do certain things down here. Like I won't sew down here. I only sew upstairs. And I'm kind of at the point where most of the plushies need to be sewn and most of them need to be glued. And so I'm kind of like, and I don't want to do Max because he's white. I don't like to crochet with white yarn downstairs. So I pulled the purple yarn out for Gengar. So I actually have 2 Gengars. Like I said, have that huge order. And I'm making a second Gengar for the huge order. I'm not certain how much of this yarn this Gengar is going to take because he's massive. He's going to be probably one of the biggest plushies I've ever made and has a ton of sewing, a ton of back spikes. So I have Sweet Snuggles Light because I don't have any in Premiere. And this particular person looked at the pattern and was like, oh, well, I expect it to be this size. And I was like, okay. So I have to use the big yarn. So I'm going to use Sweet Snuggles Light. And I have 2 full skeins of the type that's not bad. I have like 1 skein upstairs that's like okay. And then I have like 3 skeins of the crappy stuff. So my goal, once I'm through with everything, is I'm going to completely redo my craft room. I kind of got it cleaned up and then went in chaos and don't talk about it. But my off season, I'm going to go through and I'm going to throw out all of the bad yarn I have because I've acquired a lot of bad yarn from just all brands. Sweet Snuggles, Premier, Hobie. So I'm going to go through in the off season and throw that out because it's very deceiving when you look at your shelves and you're like, oh, I got the yarn that I need for a project. But then you're like, no, I don't, because it's actual crap. Why did I spend $10 on this crap? Panic! But this is the cream cheese I use. Not as good as the one I used to use. I used to use Tofutti. That stuff bangs. This, it's better. Because the reality is, you guys might not know this, I'm allergic to like everything. Alrighty, everybody. It is 10:46, so I'm getting ready to get some clothes on. And I will first bring my dogs and everything in, and then I have to go over to the barn. I'll drop the lunch food off into the stalls and then get the afternoon food soaking. I'm gonna bring my computer over, and I got 1 order of Knotty Pony to pack, so I think I'll do that after I bring in because it's not super big. I can probably do it myself. Today I do not have Miranda helping me, so oh my gosh guys, my hair is really crazy. It would just be me bringing in, but I think I've got the system down. And if my hand's shaking, it's because I'm cold. I'm always cold. But yeah, we're going to bring the horses inside. You can kind of see one of them's like, he's telling me telepathically that he wants to come in. We'll get them inside, get them situated, and then I will pack this order, come back inside, get back to work. This is how much I was able to get done on the Gengar. I believe I got up to round 13, so let's see. Oh, only 21 more to go for the body. It's gonna be big. I don't know. I mean, it's not as big as the side dog, but when everything's said and done, it's a lot. It's a lot. So I'm gonna go get this started, especially since I'm by myself. Everything just takes a lot longer time when there's not two people helping. All right, guys, I just finished dropping off the food in the main barn and then getting the food soaked for the afternoon. Because of the fact that we have so many older horses, you can kind of hear cornbread, but because of the fact that we have a lot of older horses, most of these horses have like really bad teeth and everything. All of their food has to be soaked until it's kind of like mushy liquid, and that way they don't have the risk of choking. And I do feed certain feeds that you can hear cornbread that are like dehydrated and everything, so you know they need to be soaked so they can get rehydrated, all that good stuff. It is strangely warm. It's like 50 right now, which is strange, and so I'm gonna be definitely sweating with what I'm wearing, but once I get moving I can take things off. But yeah, I think it's supposed to be almost 60 degrees today. Oh, you're like, wow, Carrie, that's so nice. Sunday, the high is like 36 and the low is like 16. So it's just how it is in Georgia. That's how we usually are in the winter time. We usually don't stay like cold just every single day, but this year we've been staying consistently like cool, and this like up down stuff is much more like normal Georgia for us. So Freya, fat chunky evil thing, she's really getting an attitude all of a sudden. I think it must be her age, I don't know, but she's waiting for her hay. I'm gonna get 2 bits his lunch food, and then I'll check in when probably everyone's inside. Ready to come inside? Oh, it's been a hard day, huh? The cats are enjoying the beautiful weather today. I don't know what Bumble's looking for. We got Bunny right there. Bee is right there in perfect sight for my dogs to get annoyed over. What do you smell? She's doing the cat thing. You know, where they smell and then open their mouth. Bumble. Bumble? You're so beautiful. Bumble. See, I see your tail flicking, and I know you can hear me. That one, I wonder about that one sometimes. So if you guys didn't know, Bumble and Bunny are sisters, right? And they both are cross-eyed. I don't know who's actually more cross-eyed. They're both pretty cross-eyed. Bunny has something where it's like her third eyelid doesn't fully retract. So she has a lot of vision problems. Like, it just kind of always, and the vets told me that there's like not a lot they can do, but we could try some things. But the problem is because she's like feral. There's no way she will allow somebody to touch her. I mean, she's been here over a year and I can touch her nose if she comes up to me. So it's like, there's no way. Luckily, it doesn't bother her that much, and I think she was born like this because she's adapted really well, because they were like with the cross-eyed cats, they were worried about them like running into trees, running into things, but these two, I'm pretty certain were born like this. And that's one of the good things that Bunny ended up coming here, because if she were at like another barn or something that just lets them, you know, go out at night, she would be like the perfect prey. But Bunny's pretty trained to like come inside every night, and she's smart. Like, she gets really scared of the wind because she can't see like all of my horses. She's just like all my horses. But she's pretty smart in the regards that she like knows that to come inside at night, so she'll be safe. Oh, must have seen my cat. Bumble, you're just gonna stay over there? All right, Bunny? She's like, oh, the dogs are barking, I'm gonna go high. Watch. She's trying to decide where she's going. Gonna go in the barn? That's smart. Good girl. Cause see, my dogs just saw B. Baby, you causing a hassle. You causing a hassle. She's like, and I'm going inside. That means it's just you, Bumby. Bumble, Bumble. Oh gosh, gosh. Oh gosh, gosh. You can tell they do not like the wind. Like, whenever it's windy, especially Bumble and Bunny, because of their eye issues, you can tell they're all over the place. They just don't know what to do with all this movement. Just like the horses. They get the same way when they have vision problems. So a majority of my boarders come between 12 to 2. And I have a few that come after work, but usually don't stay nearly as long as my main amount that comes between that time. So it's like 11:45. I like to make certain everything is done with the barn before my boarders come, ideally. Now, sometimes my boarders like show up earlier, and you know, that's that, and I can't really do anything about that. Oh, you came in. She said the wind got too scary. So basically that means like taking the blankets off. Took them all off. That means picking up feed pans from lunch. I have one horse who eats lunch over like a couple hours, so his stays in there. And then I always clean the stalls again when the horses come inside, because no matter what, oh hey, no matter what, they will without fail always go to the bathroom when they come inside, even though they've been outside for hours. It's what they do. I don't know why. So I always clean the stalls again. I'm trying to think what else. You know, just check them over. Like, I'm always constantly checking the horses, trying to make certain what is normal for them. That's the thing about, oh look, Honey's the only one up top sleeping. I don't think you guys can see her. But one thing, horses is just like constantly checking their vitals and everything, if that makes sense. Especially with what I do, with it being this like hospice type situation, and since they all have issues in this retirement board, so your horse comes here because that's a problem. Whether it's a health issue or if it's a lameness, soundness issue, they all have issues. So I constantly am like checking them, trying to get accustomed to basically what is normal for the horse, because like people, horses are the exact same way. We're like, I have some horses that like don't sweat while others do sweat, and then I have, someone's like screaming, and then I have horses that like maybe they tend to have a hotter hoof than another horse. Oh, that's my dog. They're still upset about the cats. And then like you have some that have like really bad allergies. Okay, well, you just have to like constantly check them and then learn kind of what is their normal everyday thing, and then that way you know if something's different. But at the end of the day, all horses are unique. They're like people. You can't classify them in the same thing. So we're gonna get our, she's like, nobody's, I'm gonna clean her eyes, and then probably we'll be good to blow.
Alrighty everybody, it is now 1:02. I just came inside. I got the Knotty pony order packed and I just finished getting all of the beautiful eyes going home on the cards. So we have Carnival, 2 Starlights, Indigo, and Candy. So I'm gonna finish getting this racked up and everything, get it packed up so I can go off, and then from there, the rest of the afternoon will be crocheting. So I think what my plan is, I'm going to finish up Rapunzel, because really what I just have to do is, like I said, continue tacking the hair down, and then I will work on Ponyta, because Ponyta and the side duck are supposed to be done for Hanukkah, and I believe that starts on the 15th. So work on this. Honestly, I think the longest part of Ponyta is going to be brushing out all the acrylic yarn. I think I'm going to be smart this time and try and find acrylic yarn that's really easy to unravel. If you ever need to use like acrylic yarn for a project where you're actually like brushing out acrylic yarn, try and use the yarn that wants to like split and separate, because it is 100 times easier. There's one color that I use typically, that's the yellow for the I Love This yarn, and if you've never used I Love This yarn, in my particular opinion is like the best acrylic yarn. Like, it doesn't split that much, it's a lot softer than a lot of acrylic yarns, but at the same time it doesn't like to unravel. And the last one I did, which was a Charizard, when I was doing the tail piece, the red and orange like unraveled so easily, but the yellow, which was I Love This yarn, oh, I like could not get it to separate and unravel. And then by the time I had brushed everything else out, I was losing yarn, or I was losing it because it was like shedding too much. So I'm gonna try and pick out some yarns that want to split, want to just unravel on you, and I think that will be the best case. But prior to getting this packaged up so I can go run it down to the mailbox before I do my barn at 2, because it's 1:04. So guys, we still have like 9 hours left of the day. Ooh, so much fun. And then because I won't be like done, I'll probably finish the Ponyta head, sink the eyes, get the face shaping done there, and then see what time I have left, if I can throw some glue on Rapunzel a little bit more for her hair. We'll see. Alrighty everybody, I'm walking down to drop this package at the bottom with the eyes, and I've already gotten basically like, I dropped the horse's feed, and then I went ahead and threw some hay down, because it usually takes them like, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes to eat their actual like grain. It honestly depends on the horse though, because like some get a little bit less, or like I have a couple that just don't have, you know, really good teeth and everything, so they definitely take longer time, you know. And then we've got the one that I just usually leave his food in the stall with him, because he likes to eat some, then he likes to eat hay, and then he goes back to his feed, and he eats kind of like 4 meals a day, just because he doesn't have great teeth, so he can't eat a lot of hay. So, you know, when they don't eat a lot of hay, we have to supplement them with like different types of feeds, just different things to get them like the calories and everything they would need, because technically horses are supposed to like just constantly be grazing, grass, hay, technically not too much grass, but humans have given them too much grass to eat. On a sidetrack, but because most of my horses are older, they have bad teeth, they can't really eat grass or hay super well, because what happens over time is like, imagine your teeth. Horses have molars and stuff too, and that's what they use to break down like hay, grass, grain, all that type of stuff.
And as they get older, what happens to their teeth is the molars kind of like lose the grooves and that ability to grind, and they actually almost become like completely smooth, like marble. So of course, when their teeth become smooth and they go to eat something, they can't grind it down or break it down into smaller pieces. So that's how they run more of a risk of like choking on things, because they just have to end up swallowing it whole, and it becomes a whole fiasco, to say the least. So we have to supplement them with other things, different types of feed, soaking food, different types of hay. There's some hay that we use that's like finely chopped, so it's a bit easier for them to eat. But this is my bottom part of my property. You guys will never see it normally because that's just the road right there, and that's where we kind of store like trailers, equipment and whatnot that's not used on a regular basis, just because I don't have the space up here, and this part of our property doesn't really get utilized. When we first built this place and bought this place, we thought we could use that bottom area, but that's an emergency spillway. And when we moved here, the previous owners weren't really like taking care of the property, and the lake got dammed up. And so for like a while, the first year, I think, we dealt with the bottom area down there basically staying flooded, because the lake wasn't draining when it would rain, and then it would just flood the bottom area. So after seeing that, it's like, you know what, let's not build anything here, because, you know, the county was like, oh, if it floods, and then if you got stuff there and it floods and it gets like pulled into the road, you're gonna get sued. So that's just like a storage area, because if it ever got to the point where it flooded super bad, we could like, you know, move the trailers. But we take a lot better care of the lake, which is why it's stayed in such good condition now. But oh my goodness, the sun is bright, and I have baby blue eyes that don't agree with the sun. So I'm back up at the barn. I'm gonna continue to work on finishing up everything, so that way I can go back inside, get back to work crocheting. But I think it's like 2:30, so I should be in 3:30, and I always take a shower before I get back into afternoon crocheting. Just depends. It's kind of nice enough that I'm contemplating taking Freya out for a walk, but that always adds so much time, and I really just don't have the time right now. So we'll see what I decide. Literally, if I could have 24 hours a day where I could work, I would do it. Because all I need is more time. I could be doing so much more of my life if I just didn't need to sleep. So everyone, I did end up deciding to take Freya out for a walk, just because it is so nice and sunny, and really nice to just go outside. And it hasn't rained recently, so the ground wasn't too wet for us to do our version of lunging. Now she's off that chunky beast, but I did take her out, so I think it's like 3:15. So I'm gonna head inside, grab, I don't know, something, maybe something to eat, I don't know, something small, something to drink, and then head upstairs, take a shower, and then get back to crocheting. She's doing her walk to get water, because it was a lot of hard work. She was better than the other day, but admittedly, it's one of those things that, you know, the more I can get her out and doing things, the better. And Freya's only 4, so horses that are older than her still have bad days, or they very strong personality. The thing is, Freya's mother, who I had before, had a very strong personality. So she's just kind of turning into her mother. Okay, guys. But she's just having some of her mom's flavor. And we have to work through that. Remember, I'm your mother. I was with you since day one. I bottle fed you. I'm top dog. She's like, yes, but you don't weigh 800 pounds. No. You don't weigh 800 pounds. No. She's like, I love it, beach. I love it. She's an itchy girl. She's a lot of allergy. Wintertime is the best time for her because there's less bugs and less allergens. But she's still an itchy girl. Her little lip. She wants to scratch me. I don't want the exchange. I'm quite fine. I don't need to be itched. I'll itch you. Don't itch me. Yup. She's like, oh my god, this is good. Nope. I don't need it. What, Luke, you getting it? I don't know how these dogs have so much energy. This is why our dogs stay in such great shape. If you've never had if you've never had hunting dogs, then you would not know. They are just like crackhead energy. Not especially that one. Him and his brother. I think this was the wrong. What are you doing? Pookie. That's crazy. You're crazy. Yeah. Luke is always all over the place. He barks so much at just like nothing. He'll look at the ground and bark at the ground. So we give him like balls and everything as like little pacifiers. So he can't bark with the ball in his mouth. They just go and go. You guys are like, yeah. The calm ones. Well, not you. You're crazy. You're just being deceptive right now.
Well, hello everybody. It is now 5:32 and I've spent too much time on this stupid ponytail. Luckily, I have enlisted the help of my mother. She is going to help me tomorrow because brushing out this acrylic yarn takes forever. So originally the acrylic yarn I first put on just was not separating the way I wanted it to, so then I had to rip all of that out and then I had to reset this. And if you have ever brushed acrylic yarn, you just know it takes so long. So this is the beginning I have. I was able to brush out this top part, as you can tell, but yeah, no. So luckily I texted, oh my gosh, look at this hair. So luckily I texted my mother and I was like, girl, she's not doing any crochet stuff with me right now just because usually like in the holidays, she doesn't have to help out because I'm doing a lot of custom works, and when it comes to like larger, bigger projects, I do everything. She helps a lot with like the smaller things, fastening off, all that type of stuff. So now that I'm doing all customs, she hasn't had to help me. And I asked her and I was like, girl, can you please come and brush all this crap out because I cannot be bothered. So she is going to do that. Yes, let's give an applause to Melinda because this is just taking up too much time. That's my thing. It's not even that I don't mind it. Like, it's just taking up too much time and I just don't have that time. So Ponyta is going to go chill over here because luckily it is the 12th. I have till the 15th to basically get this done, but pretty much the only thing left to do is just, look, this is all the leftover. I'm going to put that, I could end up needing to fill in more spaces, so we'll put that over there so that way, oh my gosh, guys, I literally just dropped one of them in my lemonade. Oopsie, kadoopsie. Tastes like yarn. But I am done with this. I'm gonna put the yarn that I used to the side, but I have so many scraps over there that I should have plenty, even if I need more. So now that Ponyta is Pony away, I am going to finish gluing down the Rapunzel hair and then hopefully finish her and then the dog. Ooh, I don't have the eyes done for the dog yet. Okay, well, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do Rapunzel because it's almost 6 o'clock, which means I will be eating soon and then going out for another check on the horses. And then we'll paint the eyes when I come inside because I need the eyes to continue the dog. I'm at that point where I can't really do anything. So I need the eyes for the dog. We'll work on the dog after. And yeah, I don't know. I don't know if you guys can tell. I am like the least organized, most scatterbrained person you can know. But I get it done. Like, I'm one of those people that if I write a list, the whole time I just laugh because I'm like, what is even the point? I know I'm not gonna look at it. You just gotta wing it. So let's get Rapunzel's hair glued down some more. It is now 7 o'clock, guys. So I'm starting some of the nighttime stuff. I gave Freya her little nighttime snack because she's a baddie with a beautiful body, no matter what anyone says. And then I gave Two Bits his little snack for them to eat while I go do the main barn. So we're gonna go start working out over there. First things first, when I come in, I like to just close up all the doors. That way, oh my gosh, do you see that straight? That way no critters feel like joining me. But at the same time, that way when my cats run inside, because they know when I come out here, it kind of is like one less thing that I have to worry about them trying to get through. So ponies are down there. I'm going to grab the feed for the one horse, get the pills and everything soaking, and then I have one that will need a blanket tonight. So I get asked a lot, or have had some people ask me about medications. Meds are kind of the norm here. There's definitely what we consider like standard medications. Like there's a couple medicines that I swear every horse over the age of like 20 are on. And then of course, depending upon what other things are going on with the horse, we have other types of medicines. So like we have one horse that's having a little bit of a tooth infection. So we're trying to treat it right now with antibiotics, 14 of these twice a day. So I'm just getting the pills into this cup, get it soaking, because these dissolve like super fast. They don't take long at all. But in general, meds are part of doing old retired hospice care, because I'm the only person who handles feed, medications, all that type of stuff. I won't let anyone else do it. It's not as hard as you would think to remember all these things, because when you do it every single day, it honestly just becomes like part of life. Like I don't even think about it. I just do things on routine. So I've got this horse's food down here. I'm gonna pull one sheet off the shelf for the horse that's just getting accustomed to not wearing a blanket as much, because it is gonna be like 37 in the morning, but it's supposed to warm up really quick. So everyone else is gonna have no blanket, because I know that Sunday is supposed to be really cold. It's gonna get like down into the teens, and the field lights are gonna be in the single digits or below 0. So in my head, I already know like everyone up here is going to have a blanket on. Freya and Two Bits probably won't, just because Freya has a crazy thick coat and she can honestly shake a little bit. She needs to burn a little bit of fat, but I've never put a blanket on her. I will put a blanket on her if it's raining and cold, but just cold, I don't think people realize how well horses like can handle the cold and stuff. They actually do better in the cold than they do the heat. But having older horses, which is what we have up here, it's a little bit of a different story than with a young horse, just because of the fact that in general, most of these guys are, I mean, most of mine are really fat and happy, but they just burn through calories differently than a young horse. And a lot of times the cold affects them differently, especially with some of their medical problems. Sometimes you'll have horses that have like super thick coats, but just with their medical and their age, the cold will affect them more than you would think, as opposed to like a young horse with a thick coat probably wouldn't care that much. So I got the one blanket. I'll put it on him. Everyone else will go without because Sunday into Monday, we would probably be heavy blanketed with net covers up here just to keep them warm, especially with the wind. It's supposed to be really windy. The temp is, we get cold temps, but it's more that wind that really brings the extra factor, and it will for me as well when I have to deal with it. So I'm wondering who did this? Who said everything toppling? Everybody, I'm walking down to, well, I don't know why Freya's over there. I'm walking down to go give these guys their last treats. Well, until I go out and kind of check on them and everything. I think it's close to 8 o'clock. I don't know. It typically takes me like an hour to do the afternoon stuff. Here we go, Freya. Treat for you. Two-Bits is begging. I just have to find this. Two-Bits' treats are kind of, here you go. Crumbs, Two-Bits. Crumbs. Nope, you're too high. Go lower. I'll try and find you a better one, Two-Bits. Okay, here you go. Two-Bits, this one's better. Eat it with your 2 teeth. 2 more for you, Queen. Good night. Alrighty, everybody. It is now 10:13 p.m. Burning that midnight oil. I've consistently been staying up later, guys. You are gonna be so proud of me. Said no one ever. I feel like I was doing okay with getting into bed by like 10:20, but lately it's been 11 o'clock, and I'm like, it's only noticeable depending on certain lighting. But here's what I did tonight. I was supposed to paint the eyes. I didn't paint the eyes. I just got too distracted. So tomorrow during the day, I'll try and paint the eyes. What I ended up doing was getting mostly done with the body for Max. I went back and forth with like what horse pattern I wanted to do, just because of course Max doesn't really have like a pattern specifically written out for him. So I went back and forth, and I figured that I will try to do the Snuggle Beans one, which I did for the ponytail. So I got most of it done, because the big thing was I wanted to try and find a horse pattern where it made sense with Rapunzel because of the size of the actual doll. Like, there was a few other patterns I found, but some of the other stitches were just like way too big. And I was worried it was going to be like super big when I compare it to her, so I haven't decided what I'm going to do with her front bangs yet, so let's ignore that. But if I had her, right, and then here's Max, like that's going to be a decent size, because I think pretty much what I'm going to do now is start to round the body, like the back part, because I did the single crochet rounds, and then make the neck, then the head. So I feel like the size proportion's going to be fine. But there were a couple of them that the size would have turned out like massive, and so I was like, I can't do that. So I think this is going to be alright. And then I will probably, I know I'll make like a bridle and everything for him, and then I'm gonna look and see. He has like a lot of accessories, you know, like the saddle, stuff like that. I'm uncertain if I can like wing it and make it look good. Like I probably do like a saddle pad, you know, things like that. But like when it turns to the like actual saddle, like I don't know if I can really wing that one per se off the top of my head. But we'll see. I mean, it's always one of those things, like once it's done, you know, that's a completely different story. And then I'm going back and forth with the eyes for Max, if I'm just going to do the black pupils or if I'll do colored. Now the only reason I say about the black pupils is because of course Rapunzel has the black pupils. So, or like, you know, the solid pupils, or solid eyes, whatever. So I'm going back and forth. I might just do solid eyes on this as well, because I don't know how it would look to have one have like really colorful and then the, you know, offset or whatever eyes, kawaii eyes, and then the other not be that way, especially since they're going as a pair. So I am leaning a little bit more towards solid eyes. So tomorrow's plan, because I will not be recording any continuation off for this because like I said, it's almost 10:20. So tomorrow's plan, I think what I'll do is during the day, I'll do the Gengar and everything and just continue on with the body because that's really just building up a lot of rounds. Like the pattern itself isn't that complicated. It's just a lot of assembly work. So I'll continue to make the pieces for that. And then Rapunzel will be finished tomorrow. This I'm gonna get finished tomorrow, especially if I do the solid eyes. I don't have to worry about painting the eyes, so it'll be super easy for me to get like this order done. And then I'm gonna get the bulldog, the eyes painted tomorrow as well. Get that done because I can't continue on until the eyes are done. And then honestly, once I do that, that's like a huge bulk of my orders gone. And then ponytail will get finished being brushed out tomorrow, but my mother's gonna help me with that. Hopefully, because that just takes so long to brush out acrylic yarn. So once that's done, that's like a good chunk of my orders. And then I can just completely do the Gengar. From there, I have one little frog that I'm supposed to make before Christmas, which that's super easy. Like I can fit it in whenever. And then I'm doing a custom order for a memorial piece that wasn't like due for Christmas. It's just sometime. And then the other one that I'll start after that is my super big custom order. I got like over 20 plushies that I have to make. Guys, that is going to be really intense. And I'm really worried because so many of the patterns that I'm doing for this particular order are patterns that I've never done before. And I always require either full or half. And I offered half because it is a lot of money. It's a lot of money. And then we ended up deciding upon force. So that way it could be a little bit easier split out. And so when I have to do things like that and I want payment up front, I have to quote everything up front. So I'm a little worried my prices might be a little too low for some of these plushies, but I'm taking it as a learning experience. Typically if that happens and if I go under like pricing for a custom, when I make it like a second time or if I offer it again, in my mind I kind of know what it needs to be. But sometimes it can be so challenging looking at my computer, reading a pattern, and trying to like translate that into a physical thing that I've never done before. Because sometimes like my brain will think it looks like this and then it turns out smaller, bigger. It is always so hard. So we're gonna see about that one. There's some really intense patterns that have a lot of details. So I'm a little worried about that. But it'll be fun. It'll be totally fun. You're supposed to say it's gonna be fun for me. Because if y'all don't believe it, then I definitely won't. But it's 10:20 now. I sometimes go out at night to do barn check at this time, but I have found that like once it gets past a certain time, my eyes start to fall asleep. Everyone seems to be doing good because I do night check at 8 o'clock, like my cleaning stalls and everything. So a lot of times that's like the latest people go out to check their horses. A lot of barns honestly do their night check at like 6 p.m. and then they don't go out and check them. So I check them. Everyone seems good. Typically, if I do have time, I would run back out and check them. Or like say Sunday when it's supposed to be so cold, I'll run out and check them and just make sure everyone's okay, that they're staying warm, all that good stuff. But for tonight, I think they will be good, hopefully. They usually are good. And I will probably head off to bed and answer any last minute emails that I got today. So probably be in bed by 10:30, 10:45. Yes. This is the time of day about like 9:30 after I do my barn and I come back inside and everything. When people ask me about being tired, this is the time of day that gets me. Like, this afternoon session of crochet is usually when I feel the most tired and the most likely to like fall asleep while I'm doing something. The morning, the early afternoon, it's not too bad. But right now, like you can tell, my eyelids just don't want to stay open. It's telling me I got to go. So I hope you guys enjoy this video, seeing a kind of more like day of my life. I tried to record things throughout the day, more so than just random clips. It's busy. Well, I guess it's busy depending on what you define as busy, but I like to stay moving. I like to stay active. I find that that's the best way for me not to feel tired and all that type stuff. And I think once you've done this for 365 days for years upon years, you realize it's not as bad as it sounds. It's only bad on days that end in Y. Yes, you heard me. But I will see you guys on the next one, whatever it is. Bye.